Hello everyone! By the time you're viewing this video, it'll be just after Black Friday's passed, which is the day that we all go out into stores across the country right after a big meal on Thanksgiving, hyped up on the sugar from soda and the chemicals in our food, and beat each other to death for 15% off of a rice cooker and 30% off of a flat screen TV that we don't need. But that's not the point of today's video, because when you have to go to the hospital to treat your wounds from Black Friday shopping, your medical records are sensitive information that you're not often thinking about, and apparently, Google might have access to them. And if that's not immediately ringing off warning signs in your head, sorry to tell you, but you've already failed the test. So Google has been working on something called Project Nightingale, where they've been essentially gathering the health data on millions of American citizens throughout a time period spanning back to last year. This program has spanned 21 states in conjunction with Ascension, which is the second largest healthcare organization in the United States. The information that Google has been attempting to and successfully gathering has included names, date of births, lab results, doctor diagnoses, and hospitalization records, along with much more information. Essentially, they're gathering everything that they would need to build a comprehensive health portfolio on people, which honestly should be something that worries you. Google has been known for being very, very intrusive, and they've also been known for mishandling people's data. So the fact that they have unchecked access to your health records is something that you should not be very okay with. Now, I guess a little bit of good news, but possibly something that should be looked into, is the fact that Google, as of right now, does not seem to have any of the health records of citizens from other countries around the world. This seems to be limited to only the United States. No information that I've seen has indicated that this is taking place anywhere else in the world. It is seemingly only taking place here in the United States. But Google claims that their intention behind doing this is to create a wide-spanning, advanced, singular healthcare database that would involve many more healthcare providers than just Ascension. Of course, you get these healthcare providers in, they give you tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of records on all kinds of different Americans. You get all the problems involved, and you basically build up the database on the whole country, and guess what, man? You're basically just building the network you need to make as much money as you need. You're printing money at that point, right? That sounds really fucking creepy to me. I don't think that's a very good idea. But another thing, Google has also expressed interest in purchasing Fitbit, the popular sports watch brand, to add to their growing health brand. So it's apparent that they're really taking this whole health thing extremely seriously, much further than just the unsolicited gathering of your personal information. So Google made a great video explaining the whole decision that we're going to take a look at and dissect and really get a feel for how they're rocking with the whole decision. But before we get into that, I'd like to introduce the sponsor of this video, Dashlane. Dashlane is an actual way to make your digital life more convenient and better overall. Replace your old weak passwords with more secure auto-generated ones, store and autofill them across the web, VPN services to mask your IP address, and much more. Dashlane uses AES encryption, also known as military-grade encryption, to secure all of your sensitive information, so you can feel better protected online. You can download Dashlane for free on your first device today by going to dashlane.com/Optimus and getting 10% off of a premium subscription by using code Optimus. It doesn't take your health records to have convenience. Download Dashlane today and change your internet game.
Our mission at Google Health is to help everybody live their healthiest life. I'm David Feinberg, and I lead Google Health. Google has been in health for a long time. When you think about it, many of our searches are around healthcare. When you get a diagnosis, a medication, a new symptom, people go to Google.
Google is just collecting all the health records because they want to make my life more convenient for me. Thanks, Google. I appreciate that a lot from you guys. There's no ulterior motives that I can think of here. Google would never want to harvest my health data to potentially combine into their products. That way they could implement that into my already complex profile online, so that way they could sell me some health-related products, would they? Or Google would never want to use this information to sell to other healthcare providers or to pharmaceutical companies or to anyone else, would they? No way that would happen. I have no worries about these issues that consistently plague us in other ways in the 21st century already, where our data is already used against us. Also, they made a really big point about how your doctor would be able to use the Google record to pull up all this information Google has comprehensively built up, which, by the way, is already based on all of the records that the doctors have already built up on the technology that Google is trying to replace.
So what we thought we could accomplish is take the functionality that we know from organizing information and put it on top of your record. So when your doctor is looking for something, did you have that Pneumovax? Did you have an MRI? How'd you have a response to that medicine before? We will pull up all that information from your record so that your doctor can spend more time with you, looking at you instead of looking in the computer.
So Google is admitting inadvertently that they have no real reason to be doing what they're doing here. I mean, the doctors have already essentially built up your profile, right? Like, what doctor's office here in the United States are you going into where everything is paper-based? Every doctor's office I go into, like, even the real, like, bad ones, I've been into some really cheap and janky doctor's offices, and everything in there is computerized. Like, at the very worst, like, they have a Microsoft Word document with all of your information detailed on it. You know what I'm saying? It's not like everything is all on paper listed out and nothing is digitalized. Like, Google is essentially trying to do what's already been done. My doctor has no issue pulling up my medical records in an office. It takes all but 20 seconds to see that my blood pressure is normal, I breathe normally, all my vitals are great, I have a history of sleeping issues, and I frankly don't see how Google is going to make any of this different.
Now, everybody who spent time looking at healthcare data knows it's incredibly complex. Why? Because healthcare is incredibly complex.
Patient's information is scattered across multiple different silos. So how do you connect these dots from the patient's standpoint?
They're already all connected through a complex medical system, at least in the United States. I mean, I don't necessarily know how it is in other countries, but if I have to visit another doctor's office for a different medical reason, if I have to get a scan or something, and you can't do that at like a normal household doctor or whatever, by the time that I get there, the team at that other office has already gotten the information to the office that I need to be at. Whether by email, fax, you name it, they do it. I mean, it's not 1901. It's not the fucking Dark Ages, okay? You're not doing anything new here. Google is acting like they're the first people to invent technology. This is ridiculous. The fact that people are falling for this blows my fucking mind.
Doctors face this every day. Many physicians practice in more than just a single system, and so they have to log into different electronic health record systems.
When you need to find something about a patient and you have the record in a fax and it's sitting in an image in the computer, you want to be able to just search ABX or CXR, which is how doctors talk about chest x-rays.
This also can be done very simply without Google's involvement, just like pretty much everything else, health related, which is a private company, Google is, that has a very deep-running history of privacy concerns for their users. They're one of the top 5 companies on planet Earth that I would never trust with my medical records willingly. If I had a choice between like cutting my foot off and eating it raw and like trusting them with my health records, I would have to seriously consider option number 1.
And it should pull up that chest x-ray.
We're fortunate to work with many health systems who are trusting us and putting their data on Google Cloud.
I think the fact that healthcare providers in the United States are trusting you with our information just shows the true problem with it in our country, in my personal opinion. Why do I as a person not have a right to opt out of this? I don't want these slimy assholes having access to my information. What's my problem is between me and my doctor. I'm a 19-year-old man. I am fully capable of handling my own problems with my doctor, and I fully expect any capable doctor of being able to do the same with me without the involvement of some mega company from Silicon Valley. This is a man or a woman who has gone to college or university to do this. They have spent good money to become a professional. If the crippling factor of them being able to do their job is the fact that they have Google licensed on their goddamn, documents or whatever, then they're just not doctors. They're not good at their job. That's just point blank period.
At Google, we generally design and build products for billions of people.
You design products for profit. Stop the bullshit. The glasses, they're not fooling me. I don't know who you're trying to fool here, bro. It's just not working on me.
And in this case, we build products for millions of doctors and nurses to help billions of patients.
Yeah, once again, you design products for the profit of millions of doctors and nurses alongside yourselves, in this instance at least, and, for the general degradation of privacy around the world. I mean, we're all sitting on a fucking Google product right now on YouTube getting our data harvested as we speak, so these slime balls will do whatever they can to get their hands on the new age gold.
The technology is mind-blowing, but if we don't have the trust of the doctor, the nurse, the mom, the dad, the elderly person, the patient, it doesn't matter how good the technology is.
Yeah, unfortunately, you have the trust of the doctors and the nurses, it seems. Your project already has millions of Americans' personal records in it. Also, I'm sure you'll get tens of millions of Americans on board as well, because unfortunately, The truth of this program is not going to become general access information because of the lies like this video where you paint what you're doing as some sort of mighty move for technology. You're almost like making this look as if like you're doing something for the greater good of society when you're not. You think Google really gives a fuck about anyone who has any actual problem with them? Or do you really think that they're just doing this for money? And the truth is whatever the case is with either of those, Google's not doing anything innovative. They're violating your rights, if anything.
We're not going to mess with this. We're going to do it the absolute best way possible. We're going to treat it with the respect that it deserves.
Oh, you're a liar, man. And the fact that you said that in this video and think that you're going to fool someone like me is mind-boggling. And I feel bad for the people who believe con artists like this because their information as sensitive as this is are now in the hands of crooks who will now use it for the most that they can get out of it.
We're all in this together and we all have that same mission. We're trying to empower doctors to be the best versions of themselves.
To me, it's making communities and families healthy so they don't have to think about healthcare.
You're right. You're so right. Preach. Preach, brother. We are all in this together. It's like a kidnapping and a high-speed police chase, except you're the criminals and we're the kidnapped passengers hoping the cops will stop you. I don't want in on anything you're doing here. If we were truly in on this together, you would give me an option. You would give everyone an option. You would have contacted everybody whose data was harvested in this whole thing, all their health records, and you would have given them a choice to opt into this program. But you didn't. You did not do that. As a matter of fact, Google kept this secret for as long as they could. Because remember, we're all in on this together. Because Google's making you. Nothing that you're doing is making healthcare better. It's purely profit. Might I add that people are liking this video more than they're disliking it? And just take a look at this comment. This comment alone is the most 1984 thing I've ever read, almost, in the sense that we're out here encouraging Silicon Valley companies to become something that we literally cannot live without. Out of all the companies out there, I think Google is the one making it the farthest from when it started. From being a simple search engine to turning into something we cannot live without. Keep it up, Google. We are actively encouraging this company to become something that we cannot live without to the point that they have our fucking medical records. It's a bit different when they own YouTube and Google search and whatnot, right? When they want to own your TV service, your online video platform, the search engine, the news platform, your health records, everything, then there's a problem. I'm just gonna list off some of what Google has right here. Just some, not everything, okay? Google Ads, Google AdSense, Google Ad Manager, Google Marketing, Google Web History, Google Translate, Google Groups, Google Flights, Google Custom Search, Google Assistant, Google Alerts, Google Hotel Finder, Google Dataset Search, Google Docs, Google Fonts, Google Hangouts, Gmail, Google Play, Google Cloud, Google Keep, Google Calendar, Google Scholar, Google Patents, Google Books, Google Shopping, Google Finance, Google News, YouTube, Google Images, Google Search. I mean, goddamn, what doesn't Google do? The only thing Google doesn't do is Google. I've said Google more times in the last 30 seconds than I ever have in my life. Here it is 5 more times for effect. Google. And this wasn't even everything that they do. They have a place called the literal Googleplex. Now, thankfully, there is some good news in this whole thing. Project Nightingale has drawn the attention of the federal government, which has launched an official inquiry into the entire thing. The Department of Health and Human Services Office for Civil Rights, which I did not know was a specific office. I thought it would be 2 separate offices, is apparently looking into this because, quote, they would like to learn more about this information, about this mass collection of individuals' medical records with respect to the implications for patient privacy under the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996, or HIPAA. Now, apparently at least 150 Google employees have had access to the patient data built up, but have claimed that they are adhering to the regulatory standards in the medical field. I wish they would say the same and do the same when it comes to the user data on the internet, but well, you see how that works out, so that doesn't necessarily give me too much hope. I'm not so sure what they expect me to be so trusting for, especially after recently they also announced that they fired 4 employees over alleged data security issues involving these employees accessing other employees' calendars and sharing the information about their locations with outside sources. If they're doing this to other employees and to people inside of the company, why should I ever trust Google with data as valuable as my personal health records? Google claims that the data, quote, cannot be used for any other purpose than providing these services we're offering under the agreement, and patient data cannot be and will not be combined with any Google consumer data. Once again, forgive me for being a bit skeptical given their past. The article, of course, brings up the whole recent YouTube settlement and the COPPA thing going on because, thank you for reminding us, CNN Business, it really still hurts, but yeah, apparently Google is not the only major tech company trying to punch their ticket into healthcare, which is not shocking to anyone who realizes how profitable it is and how accessible it would be to these companies, but at the same time, it should definitely be frightening. Companies such as Apple, Amazon, and Microsoft are also trying to make moves, which with all three, you can count me out on them having my personal records as well. I barely want to trust the medical records in the hands of the medical officials in the first place, and they're actually trained professionals. Why would I actually want these companies to have them? Their claims of convenience do not satisfy me enough to give up my privacy or to believe they're bullshit. It's ridiculous that people do not have the choice to give up their privacy in the year 2019. We are literally getting closer and closer to companies like this ruling over what you can and cannot do. They are actually harvesting your fucking medical data. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on my channel. Follow me over on Twitter at @SubToOptimus. I post memes, thoughts, and updates over there. It's a surefire way to get notifications of all my newest content. Join the Discord down below. Lots of great things going on down there as well. Thank you to my channel members. Your support helps my channel tremendously. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, getting his data harvested by conglomerates and signing out.